This was the opening move by the Norwegian number one, Marvelous Klobberson. It's an English opening. In response from the Iranian Frenchman, we get this, the Great Snake variation it's known as. What a climax this game was. Absolutely epic title Tuesday chess, 17th of June, early tournament, and one of the strangest, most beautiful combinations I've seen this year. Let's dive in. Magnus now continues with his own Great Snake variation. Both players now getting their bishops out, and we see some natural steady development. It's titled Tuesday as said. Online clash, Alireza Firouzja with black. He's an absolute beast at blitz chess, and he's playing the King's Indian defense. They do a quick king safety fist bump, explode it out. This is what it looks like when it goes wrong, by the way, so don't try it if you're not a professional, but be careful anyway if you do. And now we get the strike at the centre here. How to react? Well, Daenerys, mother of dragons, now chucks the third one into the battle. That's a Game of Thrones reference for someone who asked in the comments, right? If you want some other references, do let me know. Or indeed, if you've got some funny chess pictures, you love an edit, you love a video, feel free to send across. Always helps me out if you want to see them in some videos here. We now see takes, knight recaptures, and this rook piles on the pressure. We now see h3 taking control of g4 and the oft overlooked i4 over here, and now a seahorse is spawned, triple whammying the center. So we see the Wookiee one, and now h6 from Alireza. Tidy chess, keeping an eye on the dark squares, the bishop activating, and this apparently the strongest move, stepping back, challenging this annoying guy. But Magnus doesn't do it. He plays Queen c2. Is he really a grandmother or a very naughty boy? It's given the question mark, and it allows Alireza an equalization shot which goes like this. Now it's a crazy looking move because you're not just losing a piece, but this is how the whole ninja line goes. Don't want to linger too long, but it was all connected with the loose knight in the centre here, and when the smoke clears, black is a pawn ahead, but it will soon drop. This kind of pressure here, and it's apparently an equal game. Now maybe Alireza knew this but wanted to keep spice in the position. Maybe he just missed it. He instead plays knight g4. Looks like he's hung an entire piece, but actually this one's loose. So Magnus now saves it, challenges the knight on c5. This one saves itself, and what a spicy game we've got right now. And by the way, just before I continue, before I forget, it is literally 24 hours now till the Father's Day sale is done, finished, finito. You won't get these prices in the Remote Chess Academy for a long while. The super bundle is an insane price, plus you've got Road to 2000, incredible courses. Click the link in the description, check it out, make that investment today, and then you can improve that chess, play like the strongest grandmothers in the world. Let's dive back in here, because after knight e5, Magnus now chops here, changing the pawn structure, giving Alireza this mighty grip. But first he attacks the queen, looks all over the place, up to the ceiling. Good way to try and get your opponent not to notice it, but Alireza does. No Botez gambit today. And you could now play pawn f4, actually sacrifice a pawn. It isn't played. Instead we see bishop e3. Again, it offers an exchange of prisoners. You take here, I take here. They're playable variations, just different games. We'll stick with what was played, which is pawn b6. And again, white can go pawn b3, protect, or even f4. The idea is after takes, you go e5, you get a quick bishop development and lots of pressure. But not played. Magnus gallops forward, makes a little pony noise, opens the queen to defend here, and best is pushing this pawn. But Alireza goes for a different plan. He maneuvers like this, loves to play with his hobby horse on the weekend. It's for moments like this, and now Magnus sidesteps, pressuring this pawn, and how many of us are playing this? Just flows off the wrist, right? But then you run into this, and you can start playing around that knight, opening the diagonal. I'm going to just pause it there and say white's a bit better here. This is a monster of a piece, but not played. We didn't see the king cover. Alireza instead immediately centralizes. sacrifices a pawn because this is the absolute brilliance he's got planned. Can you guess the move? So the move he plays is bishop takes on h3. Alireza just strutting his stuff all over the board. He looks fantastic, reminiscent of the 2024 Chess Grandmaster Best Dressed competition. He won it hands down, stunning suit there, and strong competition that year. You had Nepo in the absolutely outstanding disco outfit, Fabi on point as always, beautiful big bird, real feathers, even young Yasser turned up sporting the absolutely incredible Hawaii tank top. We love to see it. Great contest. And the point is, if you capture here, this is the trick. Check and you lose the queen. So this guy cannot leave the protection of the square. Therefore, we see Magnus just tuck back, hit the queen. You could technically play f6 or queen d6 is fine. But what you can't do is this, and it's queen d7. Did Alireza mean to go there? Was it a mouse slip, as Gotham Chess also speculated on in a video he covered of this game? We'll never know, but it allows Magnus this. He goes to fork knocks, breaks in. It's a royal fork, queen's dropping, so you have to take. Bishop recaptures, and look at the pain you're feeling on the dark squares. So queen c6 stops queen h6, or the queen simply takes the bishop. And if you go queen g5, you're just not actually getting anywhere. White takes here, or black rather. Then after king captures, you can take with check. No good. So Magnus plays the excellent bishop takes on d4. Now it looks completely counterintuitive. Why would you give up the dark squared bishop? Well, the point is you can't take it, or else now takes here. The knight's gone, so this is no longer a tactic, a fork, and therefore you're just a clean bishop up when you take that step back and count the material. So this one's immune. Instead we see takes, and a choice again for white. Do you take the bishop here, or do you keep your dark squared attacking force? Well, if in doubt, attack, 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 right? Especially in blitz. This is what Magnus does. Bishop on g2 hanging, and so it takes on e4. Best way to play, because it covers the g6 pawn, and with the queen still standing here, you're prepared to play f6, cut this sniper out and keep that pawn defended. So what do we see? Queen h6, of course, threatens mate on two different squares. So pawn f6 rather is played to blunt this bishop here, and I absolutely love this part of the game. Such a beautiful, stunning combination. This bishop is covering this pawn, and the queen wants to crash through. So how do we remove that defender? Pawn to f3. Well done if you saw that move. And the idea is, if you come here where you're just thrashing, the rook comes and hits anyway, and now it can slide into the attack. This goes nowhere, check, but you just block it. You've got another check, but queens come off, and white's a whole bishop ahead and crashing through. No good. So bishop c2, not cutting it. If takes, how about that for understanding what's wrong? Well, then you of course crash through to the king. You've left the protection. This is the point. And you crash through with the bishop, and mate is threatened. And the problem is the rook also joins the massive attack. It's mate in like 19 with best play, or mate in 4 with not best play. So know this. Therefore bishop f5 was played, but now there's a really nice icing on the cake. And it's not pawn g4, which you might think, because then the queen takes here, takes, and actually you walk into this perpetual check. Unavoidable, because if you step up, then you get hit with this and a checkmate. So not g4, that's not working. What about king f2? This is actually working. Beautiful variation, covers the pawn from the attack and threatens rook h1. Really love that. And if black tries to slide in down here, well, now you go g4. Subtly different. You create this luft. Now the king can run away, and no good trying to kamikaze. Again, you leave the protection. This is just amazing chess. So king f2, a good move, but Magnus doesn't play that one. He plays the epic Rook d5. Whispers away. Do you even rook lift, bro? He's in great shape right now. The queen can no longer crash through, and he sets up some nasties. Alireza lifts the rook into the defense here, but Magnus now gives us some of the most delicious goat's cheese we've had in a while. He goes rook takes on f5, a brilliancy that doubles the pawns and rips open the king, allowing the bishop to now take because the queen supports it. Of course, you could give up your queen, but that's hopeless, and it threatens checks down here and then here, as well as hitting this rook. And imagine check and then winning an entire rook. So queen d6 adds a little cover and looks to crash through here, but Magnus now checks. The king runs, another check. The king runs once more. Now a simplicity to finish here, and it's bishop takes on e7, because after queen recaptures, we get another check, and it's just curtains, because you're about to pick up the rook in the corner. If you block with the queen, then you can check like this, and the king can't stay with the queen. The rook now does, but now you hunt the king. Here's a sample line. The king's got nowhere to go but c8. You pick up here, and this actually leads to a beautiful checkmate, something like this. So blocking with the queen, no good. What if you run with the king? Played in the game. Well, now we get rook d1 check, and it forces resignation, because again, the king's got barely any squares, one in fact. You could give up your queen, but no good. If you go here, then you can mate in two different ways, but this is surely the most beautiful, doing it from behind, and you're using the power of the pawn to box in that king, plus the rook. Stunning game from Magnus, unreal combination, loved all of this stuff, and he went on to dominate the tournament, 10 in a row, then a quick draw, winning title Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed. Check out Remote Chess Academy, incredible deals there, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.